Excellent, excellent, excellent. Everybody's in. Today's headline to news. Obviously, we're going to cover those. A little bit, very little in there. AstraZeneca last night, you guys saw, came out with the Oxford study, said that they're making some progress here. This is going to turn into a horse race. My night trader people know we've got the position in AstraZeneca. Big news of the day was for headline, Michael Jordan coming on board. When you bring Michael Jordan on board, is it really worth a company going up 12%? Because that's what DraftKings shares are up this morning, and I am loving it. It puts our position, our call on the stock in a great spot. I'll be talking about that at 11 o'clock with my night trader people. We're going to cash some profits out of this one. Earnings season still busy. Believe it or not, the retailers are still coming in. Macy's came in this morning and did what? They surprised investors. And how'd they surprise them? Because they did so poorly? No, they did it the other way. They surprised people to the upside. The notes on it were incredible in terms of they got rid of all their inventory. Now is when I think you're going to see all their inventory end up in TJ Maxx, by the way. But when we look at it, I cannot believe that they knocked the cover off the ball. We'll take a look at the stock and we'll trade it. We're going to talk about 3 AE stocks, alternative energy. We'll have to, that we, you and I, a collective group, are going to trade over the next 3 months. We're going to start with a 1 month period. I'm going to start it through August here because I don't want to know if we want to get tied up in this too long. But that number has gone from 3 to 10 to 10. So, and I've got a list of those. We're going to start with just the list today. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to give you all of the levels. Make sure everybody, we got a quorum here. So we're going to make sure everybody agrees with the 10 that I've chosen. Anyhow, let's hit the headlines real quick. Zoom, zoom, zoom. How do you trade this name? Holy cow. Zoom comes out, knocks the absolute, it's not even the cover. They knocked the cork out of the ball with their earnings report. So the little itty bitty cork was flying across the other side of the field. You had all the elastic going one way, and then the cover or the sleeve of the ball going the other way. Stitch is just gone down. 480, this stock goes up to, bounces all over the place. I got stopped out of the position myself once it was up around 470 or 480 and it came back. As I told you, that trailing stop, I had a 5% trailing stop on this stock and still got knocked out of it real quickly. Looking to pick it up at $400 myself right now. That's how you trade Zoom. This is going to go a little higher, I believe. It is September 2nd. Yeah. I think, I hope that we did, I hope that I didn't say September 1st. It's September 2nd, Wednesday, hump day, day after DR. So we've got Zoom right now. You're coming up 450, 460 right now. The stock's going to trade a little higher. I think it pushes almost as if what we saw on Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's Sporting Goods, another I got stopped out of, went higher, came up, started trading sideways. I'm expecting a little bit of this from Zoom, which is why I'm going to watch it real closely over the next couple of days. I want to be back in the Zoom business. That 400 limit that I've got in right now may not get triggered. I may have to bring myself up to a 425, which is right here. This is how you trade this stock right now. If you don't own it today, if you didn't own it at 320, then you give it a couple of days for it to go sideways and let it start to figure out its directional play. You got to have some profit taking out of this name, but those numbers were so fantastic that I'm not surprised if it just turns into a consolidation. Another stock that it reminds me of that I was looking for a sell-off in, NVIDIA. NVIDIA didn't have a sell-off. They're taking off again. And this is partially because we are seeing large cap stocks take off because of those two hooligans, Apple and Tesla, with their split, creating all kinds of opportunities, right? No, Apple now trading up at 134, heading towards its 200. I think I'm not going to do a Broadway Joe here and guarantee that it hits $200 before the end of the year. But this stock is going to be well on its way. And of course, the other Tesla with the split. These two stock splitting have given the NASDAQ 100 a new little breath of life. And that's why you're seeing companies like NVIDIA start to take off to the upside here. Fear of missing out. Fear of missing out still, guys, on these stocks. So that's how you play. If you're looking at Zoom right now and you're not in it yet, I think this is a stock you get patient on. You wait for it to come down to 400 in a couple days. If it doesn't come down, you jack that up to a 425 limit. You get back into this name because it's going to start trending to the upside. DocuSign was a monster, absolutely a monster. Let's hit a couple of the other earnings. I already got way off on the charts here. I got off my news. U.S. equities, we're up at the open right now. You're about 0.7% higher on the S&P 500, and that's according to comparison on fair value. You've got the leadership in the mega cap stocks moving this market higher in pre-market. Also, the Fed supported policy, optimism about a recovery, corona treatment. We saw some headlines last night, and faith. And I love the word faith, that lawmakers will reach another coronavirus relief bill. Steve Mnuchin starting to make a little more noise about this and about how the Republicans are really getting ready to make a hard push here. Bottom line is they need a deal in the next couple of weeks before we start talking about the election with even more veracity. And with the Trump administration getting a little bit more steam behind their movement here, their reelection movement, if they can get wins like this, they will start to look at a situation where they are in not only in the hunt, but possibly in the lead before we get to the middle of October here. So a very interesting perspective that's changing in the political market, that's changing how we may see pressure be put on Congress to get something done on that the relief bill, the fiscal stimulus that we'll get out there. That, of course, would lead to lower prices on the dollar and gold and silver taking off again. We'll hit those charts for just a second here at the end. But we're also seeing upgrades on names like, and there's your misspell of the day, NVIDIA, and a few others that we'll touch here in a second. I want to pull up the NVIDIA chart again because this one is still getting some upgrades after that earnings. I'm going to show you this chart every day. I told you that since the beginning. I'm doing it today. Above 3,500, well into overbought territory. Doesn't mean we have to go down, but it means that we will at some point get either a consolidation or a pullback in stocks. A pullback's going to come down to the 3,400 level. I'm convinced of that. The traders trend line is going to come into play at that point. And it would most likely be during this August month because we are heading into this month when we've got a ton of volatility that is heading down our pipeline. And speaking of volatility, I get to go and talk about the VIX now, putting in its second close above the 50-day moving average. All my night trader people know what I'm doing right now and what I'm looking at in terms of positions on this. This is the time when we start to look right now, 2 closes above. If we happen to sneak out a third close above the 50-day, and you notice how marginally these are, very small margin on those. If we happen to close out on a third day, though, it's time to move on the VIX, and it is time to get moving in terms of the volatility hedge here. Now, earnings still driving stocks. You've got the last push from earnings season coming from the retail sector. Always mentioned that Adobe is one of those last companies that kind of puts a punctuation mark on the end of the earnings season. But this week, we're seeing large names from the retail seasonality trade. And the retail seasonality trade is something that did I say August? I'm sorry, September. September is the most volatile month. I'm still wishing we were in August because I don't want summer to go away, even though I don't like the itis or the COVID. I really don't want summer to go away. You're right. September 2nd. My bad. My bad, guys. Anyhow, we are going to see a difference in the seasonality trade. What I mean by this, let me go talk to you for a second here. You've got a situation every year as a money manager. When I was managing other people's money, OPM, when I was managing other people's money, we had a trade that we would put on the Tuesday after Labor Day, and we'd hold it until Black Friday. It was the retail sector, whether it was the XRT or FSRX. I forget the Fidelity fund that we would use. FSRXP, I believe it was. Put it on between Labor Day and on the Tuesday after Labor Day. The reason we did that is because the numbers. Go figure. Found out that was the most reliable statistically seasonal rally that you could see in the market on any period, during any period. So we're going to go off the camera because it looks like we're losing a little bit of our bandwidth here. But anyhow, I'll continue my story very quickly here. So we would put that trade on every year, and that trade would make our year. It generated enough alpha that we got our trading bonuses. Everything came from that. It's a reliable trade. It has to do with the holiday season. It has to do with back to school. It has to do all of these things. A confluence of retail activity comes into one place during that period of time between Labor Day and Black Friday. So we would trade it every year. just absolutely crush it. I've been looking at this trade for this year as it comes up next week, obviously being Labor Day, and getting ready to put this money to work in the retail sector. And what do I find? Sure, I can do XRT. It's been on fire, but it's going to be a different game this year. It's going to be stocks like Etsy. It's going to be stocks like eBay. It's going to be some of these others that are now a bigger factor. Even Dick's Sporting Goods. We're going to get a look at the Sportsman's Warehouse this afternoon after the close. We're going to see how they do with their earnings and what they've been doing with getting online. And that's going to be a good telltale. SPWH after the close today. I've got a chart of them as well because we're going to trade it. But anyhow, my point is that this season is going to be different, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an update to that list on stocks that you want to look at, retail stocks that you want to look at as we head into this reliable trading period, which is S, person with the name that starts with S, the retail trade from Labor Day until Black Friday. So I'm putting something together that's going to go up on the website. You guys are going to get the information maybe first or maybe really close to first, but it's going to be the stocks that we'll buy. We're going to make our own little ETF basically of stocks that we want to buy for this earnings trade. And again, this is the most reliable seasonal trade that I've ever seen out there. So I'm excited about that. I got off track on that one for a second though, but look for that next week. Auto sales hit the tape today. All three of the Ford, GM, Toyota are going to, you know what? All three of these stocks, we looked at them yesterday. They're trading over extended levels. A lot of people expecting to see good things from them. I think one of the things we're going to hear is that you've got them slowing down a bit in their sales because a lot of the people that were getting the extra money from unemployment are not getting that now. And we've seen that has gone to be spent on discretionary items, not mortgages and such. So I think that we watch these with a tepid eye, even though the market is going higher for GM, especially Ford right now is in that situation that I think that it is a short in the market. Let's look at some earnings real quickly. Macy beats by 99 cents. They beat on revenue. They actually guided higher. They got rid of their inventory. They flipped their inventory. They sold their inventory is what they did, guys. Trading above the 20-day and the 50-day. This turns this stock into, believe it or not, I should have some sort of sound effect here, into a strike point stock with a target of 850. And I did not think you'd hear me say that. And I forget who it was that was asking about when Macy's is going to hit $4 and $3. And we were talking about the demise of Macy just months ago. And this stock is now coming back and getting ready. Is it going to rally with the rest of the companies as we head into that seasonality strong period? No, they're going to get their butts kicked by other companies here. And it's going to be companies like Amazon. And it's going to be companies like TJ Maxx, quite frankly. But right now you have a situation. If I follow the data, and you know I do, this situation of breaking above the 50-day, the 20-day tailing up and starting to confirm, and low RSI volume coming in. Tangents of that 20-day have been very positive. The 50-day starting to positive out on me. This is a situation where the stock becomes a strike point with a bullish target of $8.50. That almost pains me to say it. Trade it if you like. This will be a side trade for you. I target at least $8. There are a lot of shorts that are out there on this name as well, so you're going to see it covered up. Shoe Carnival, who would have thought we'd be talking about Shoe Carnival? But company coming out with their earnings, they beat by 9 cents, missed on rev, didn't provide guidance. This stock has been going through the roof as a lot of people were buying the rumor on Shoe Carnival. Now, in all openness and telling you all the data that is out there, there was also 30% of the stock's float tied up in the short positions on Shoe Carnival. Look at the volume that happened leading into this earnings announcement. I think what you saw here is people did not want to be short. You got a short cover rally as you broke above the 200-day moving average, and all of the short traders were going, holy, I'm going to get really shafted here. Shoe Carnival heading up to $36, up 9.4% yesterday. The stock is going to be trading. We'll see where it's trading right now in pre-market. Give me a second. So the stock's trading down 15% in pre-market activity. I'm wondering if those shorts are wishing they'd added a short position as it was trading at 36. But I would have to be honest with you guys, because this is a situation where a 30% of the float tied up in the stock, you should expect to see them getting out of that when the 50-day and the 20-day turn higher like this. This is just a nightmare scenario for a short seller. And on a stock that was that short, it had to move higher. Shoe Carnival, you play this down to the 27 price point, which is where it's going now. CLDR after the market, CLDR, one of the stocks we've talked about, traded in the night trader system, trading up to $14. A little bit of a buy the rumor here. You've got the 20-day crossing above the 50-day and turning into an overbought situation. I like the stock right now with a tight stop loss on it as it approaches 14, a 3% stop loss if you're holding the stock, because I do think we're going to see a little bit of selling after the news. It's had a run up here from $12 to 14 in the last week, and that's also going along with the NASDAQ that's been very strong. But that little 5% pusher puts it up to 14, which is where we saw last time we came out with an earnings report. The stock was floating a little bit lower than that, but popped up to 14 and then came back down again. The market doesn't forget these tops. Double top is going to bring it down to 12.5, and that's where it turns into a buy after you get it triggered on a short leash trailing stop there, guys. Short leash trailing stop. And then I've got there we go. CrowdStrike after the close today as well. There's a couple other interesting ones. When I look at my piece of paper here, you've got Mongo database, Five Below also that are coming out after the close. There's some good names coming after the close. I can't hit them all, guys. But CrowdStrike Holdings up 14.28% yesterday. Stock goes into an overbought territory. You know that I don't like it when it goes that overbought. Obviously, some good news driving the price higher here. I think this is a situation, again, where you have a tight stop loss on the stock and a 130 entry on the limit on the way back in with your sawhorse strategy. There's your Sportsman Warehouse, I promise, breaking up above 1750. A lot of people thinking about Dick's Sporting Goods as they look at this stock chart. A bounce off the 50-day gives you a bullish move on it. One thing I wanted to check on very quickly, let me pull up my model. And yeah, you've got very low short interest, or 3.7, so 3 days to cover it right now, and short interest to float 18%, or I'm sorry, 8%. So nothing that's going to drive it higher on a short covering rally right now. Expect a beat to go ahead and drive us up towards that 18, 19, and I think you're going to get a carbon copy of what you saw with Dick's Sporting Goods. The stock is not overbought yet. That's the nice key here. Even on this heavy volume coming in, and that's not going to change what the RSI does. The price does that. You've got the opportunity for the stock to rally up towards $20, maybe even $21 after a positive report from Sportsman Holding. Any questions yet so far? What about let's take a look at Callaway. Callaway actually starting to take a little bit of a move. And hold on a few seconds. Had to get my agreed upon. We have an agreement. I can drink my coffee while we're doing these little speeches or these little talks with you, and that's exactly what that was. So Callaway, we've seen the stock, obviously, once we broke above that 20 level, you're not going to see earnings from this company until mid to end October, I believe. It is on cruise control along with whatever's going to happen with the sporting goods. Seasonally strong period for Callaway as we head into the fall. Right now, the trends are telling us that this is a stock that stays and continues to go up towards a target of at least $25. It's a little bit overbought right now. It's not the kind of overbought that I throw in a trailing stop on yet, though. I'd probably have a 5%. I do. I should correct myself. I do have a position in an IRA in Callaway, and I will put a 5% trailing stop on it simply because I'm up pretty considerably on the position. But I'd look to rebuy that down at the $20 level, which is, a lot of people think, well, that's only 5% or 6.5%, Chris, right now. That's 6.5% you add to your alpha if I miss the move from here to here because I've trailed out of it. If I get closed out of that position, if I get closed out, let's say at a 3, that generates 3.5% in alpha. That adds up over time, folks. We're talking about trading and investing with this. This is not an aggressive strategy where I want to make 100 or 50 or 20% on a move. This is a stock that I own in an IRA. It's an investment right now, but if I can find a way to squeeze an extra 3.5% out of it at once a month or once every other month, that puts me way, way ahead of what I would do if I were just buying and holding the stock. And I'm not trying to capture these bottoms or these tops. I'm simply using a strategy that is putting in a trailing stop that closes me out at a reasonable point, and then I buy back in at another reasonable point. The difference between those two is alpha. It's alpha. If the stock keeps going up, I miss out on some of that, but I can always move on to another. So let's move on to the slides again, because I want to talk about a trading experiment with 10 AE stocks, alternative energy stocks. Here is my pitch, guys. Here is my offer. Here is what I'd like to do. We're here on September 2nd, not August 2nd, September 2nd. So we've got another 20 trading days left in the day, because this is a 21 trading day month and yesterday's out of the way. We're going to take 10 AE stocks and we're going to trade them using the sawtooth method throughout the month. I'm simply going to have every day a spreadsheet up here that is whether we're long or short or not in it. And that's how we're going to do this. And we're not even going to short. We're just going to go ahead and say we're in the stock or we're out of the stock. And if we're out of the stock, we're going to have a target price. And it's going to be something that I'll write articles about, and it'll be published to other people. So it's not individual advice by any measures. If I have a position, I'm going to let you know. But we're going to take these 10 stocks and just say the sawtooth method using a trailing stop. How do we do here? 1 month trading, the most volatile month of the most volatile month of the year. So that gives us a little bit, but we'll take these 10 stocks and we'll trade them together. You guys can get some input in on this as well. I'm always willing to hear some more input from you guys on how you'd want to trade them with me. But I think this would be a neat experiment that gets us into, remember, we're talking alternative energy this entire week. This is a neat experiment that gets us into the alternative stocks, get you to look at 10 of them with me, and here they are. I picked these 10 because, first of all, they're trading options. They've got enough options activity that if I do want to put an options trade on one of them, I can. Also, they've got enough trading volume that we don't have problem trading them. They also are more volatile among the group. So this is a situation where Jinko Solar, Plug Power, you knew that had to be in there. Fuel Cell, we talked about it yesterday. Blink Charging, NEO, Tesla, Workhorse, you knew that had to be there. Nikola, Enphase Energy, and First Solar, all from different areas. We've got solar in here. We've got, if you look at First Solar is really a semiconductor company too as well. So we've got Tesla, we've got Blink Charging, we've got Fuel Cell, we've got hydrogen in here. I mean, a little bit of anything. You'll notice the attractive cousin of Plug Power is not in here. You know why? Because Ballard just doesn't have what it takes when it comes down to the volatility that I want to see to be able to trade these. And I want to be able to trade these effectively over the next month. So we're just going to take the next month and trade these for fun. It'll be paper trading. And this is exactly it, Zachary. It's a paper trading situation. I may even go ahead and set up a little paper trade account in my Schwab platform here, so that you guys can watch us grow as we move forward. But I think this is the best way when we talk about, and I talk about alternative energy a lot. This is going to be the best way for us to get to know not only these companies, but also get to know how these companies trade. Are these investments? I will come out and tell you right now, Tesla, you buy it and you hold on to it. Look at the activity today already. Today's change is a pre-market activity. Enphase is up 1.1%. NEO is up 2.6%. Blink is down 1.1%. You've got so much movement among this group. So you could have opportunities to the upside and downside on the same days, the same weeks, et cetera, et cetera. Look at the differences in where we are from 52-week highs and 52-week lows. Some of these stocks are 14% off their 52-week low, 16%. NEO off its 52-week low, 570% on Plug Power. And it's still, it's 1.6 from its 52-week high, but you've still got 100% on Blink from its 52-week high, 129 from Nikola. So we've got a lot of movement and range here, and that tells us we've got stocks that are great for trading. So I'm just going to assume, because everybody's being quiet, that this is an okay, and you're going to enjoy this little alternative energy trading lesson that we're going to have. I'll get it started today with just giving us the stocks, Tomorrow, you're going to have actual limit prices on anything that I would want to be buying into. I'll be assuming buys, or on stocks that I would just say. Fuel cell is one right now. And I have to say, give you a personal disclosure. I was talking about this yesterday with my night trader people. I like fuel cell where it sits right now and got into it at a 280. SunPower got left out because SunPower doesn't have a target right now. I'll have to give you that target at 11 o'clock. But no money, no guts. I'm willing to trade a little bit of these as well, simply because I like to trade them with my money. A lot of these, I do have positions, as I said, in fuel cell that I opened up yesterday. I do have positions in plug power. I'll make sure that I put something up here and make sure that everybody is happy on a legal end in terms of what I have disclosed in terms of my holdings from the list. But this list was picked basically on the idea of volatility, availability, and then the range of motion, if you will, how much room we've got to move. So I think this will go well. Perhaps I will check with the powers that be and see if it's possible that I could put together a little bit of maybe throw $5,000 into an account. I don't know how they'd feel about that. I'm going to check on that today, because if they felt okay with that, I'd feel okay with it too. I think this would be fun, and I always have fun making money. So this slide means that I'm ready to let you go, but I'm not ready to let you go. I'm ready to go through some stock charts with you and some questions. So let's hit it right now. Q&A. I've only got 2. No, I've got 6 in here. Loud and clear. All right. Somebody was giving me the loud and clear. What's my take on Micron? Buying calls are okay. Buying calls are always okay. The way you put that made it sound like are buying calls on it okay, is assume what you want to say. Right now, Micron in a little bit of a position where I wouldn't be going too long on the stock. 50 days trending lower, 20 days trending lower. It's going to act as some resistance right now. 200-day. This went zero volatility, zero direction on you. I never like it when a semiconductor stock does that. Even Intel, after it got blasted out of the water after their last earnings report, is going into a little bit of a trend, trying to find a trend here. But look, it went zero volatility, and then boom, you sank my battleship. So right now, Micron, I think there are better names you can find in the semiconductor sector, whether it's NVIDIA, obviously NVIDIA. I'd like to still say Inphi is going to be giving us some movement to the, gosh, why can't I get my ticker straight this morning? I'm not sure what's going on with my ticker play here, guys, but NVIDIA, we'll put that up there. NVIDIA is one that I would look at. ADM being another, and even some Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM. We know that they're going to be doing a lot of work for Intel here. It's flattened out after that huge rise we saw after the Intel announcement, but this is going to be one of those trenders. The XSD as a whole has not given you a lot of direction over the last, 2-3 weeks or so, and it's trying to tail up right now, break up above the 130. Keep an eye on this over the next couple of weeks, because this really is a directional leader for the market. What's my take on it? It's bearish to neutral. Tiffany's, TIF. Everybody's loving Tiffany's because China is buying stuff from Tiffany's again. You know what? Tiffany's also has a thing that's going on with their whether or not they're going to be selling, how much they're going to be selling, et cetera, et cetera. I stay away from the stock, period. Until all merger and acquisition type of activity, any type of corporate action activity is out, I don't mess with the stock. That's been a rule of mine for 20 years now. I don't touch Tiffany's right now just because of that. SPWR, can you still get in SunPower? When we look at this, SunPower is a position that absolutely went through the roof here, up to $12, and then kind of pulling back a little bit right now. SunPower you let this come back down to a 10 print if you want to get into the position. It is not, it's going to run a little higher on this one too. Right now, they had that corporate action where they spun off, I forget the company that they spun off. That's why you got that jump up to $11, $11.93 right now. The print on it, I think it has come back down to 10, 10.50 before it looks attractive to get into another position in SunPower. When do we see a pullback? That's a great question, Naveed. Right now, you still got into S&P 500. We see one when we have a headline day where there aren't headlines to the upside, when you don't have positive news about the COVID-19 trials that are going on with in this case, it was the Oxford trials yesterday and AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca may or may not get a little love from that this morning. But nonetheless, it's when we start to see some headlines that are a little less little less optimistic or hopeful, I guess is the way to put it. I do think that we see a fiscal stimulus package coming. I don't think it's going to be as big as it was expected. That affects the dollar and starts to bring everything down. This is piling up. Think of it this way. Everybody that's in the market at this point wants to be in the market. So I don't see much coming into, let's say, the NASDAQ 100, which is really overbought right now and cresting over 300. I don't think that you see many people that are going to be pouring much more cash into the market. When you look at the VIX, a lot of premium in the October options. Everybody's getting really afraid of the election. Now that we're seeing news that there's no way it's going to be called within a week or two, September is going to be a point where we see a pullback. That was a long way for me to give you just a real quick answer. If you have options on a stock that'd be near your top, ELI, what would you put you? You know what? That depends on the option. AK, if I'm trading an option on, and unfortunately, if you're trading an option on Callaway, probably not that high a price of an option because the stock's only at $21, unless you went way, way, way in the money. Normally what I'll do, and because of this, if you're trading in an option that, let's say, is $3 or $4, you're not going to have that much wiggle room because the bid-ask spread alone can put you into trouble in terms of the option getting triggered on that stop loss. That's why it's hard to use a stop loss or a trailing stop, especially with an option. Normally what I'll do is I'll identify, and options have to take a little more maintenance, but I'll identify a price at the beginning of the day and put in a limit order and say, a stop limit order, and say, this is where I want it. Because if the option price goes up 12% to 13%, which can happen easily, and then comes back down 10 or 12, 13%, you're going to get stopped out. So draw that line. I usually do it based on the underlying, and I say, okay, if it breaks down to 2050, Callaway breaks down to 2050, I think the option is going to be trading at X. That's where I'd want to get out because that's where the consolidation's been holding. That would be the limit price I'd put it in. Trailing stops pretty hard. Fastly up 4% yesterday. Fastly trading. Let's see where we got. We can't talk much about the about our positions. Fastly did not break through 100 point yesterday. It is up about 80 basis points right now at 96.01, just over $96. Hit that 100 point. You know what I say about round numbers, and it's playing out here exactly to the T. You had the news on Monday that China is going to say whatever they want to say about the deal with TikTok. Obviously, still has some dealings with Fastly. I think Fastly it's a matter of it breaking through this 100. We've got a vertical call spread on it in the night trader that's up 14% right now. I think that goes quickly to a 25 to 50% gain, and then we move away from it. We Fastly take our profits and move on to the next one. Also, ZB and a few of us have been talking during the 11 o'clock live stream. I've been whittling down my great 68 to about a great 30 some stocks that I'll be honest, this experiment with the alternative energy stocks is also turning into an experiment for trading a small universe and just knowing every nook and cranny about their price and volatility activity, which is where I think we could take a service like Night Trader and just absolutely do some really special stuff. Let's just say STX. We look at Seagate Technologies. This is almost in the same as WDC. WDC was brought up yesterday. I think I know why now after I saw something, and I hope that my view may be different than other people's view on a stock, I guess. And I look at the charts, and that's the only thing that I'm looking at. WDC kind of following the same as STX. When you've got Seagate Technology, that's kind of not, they're in that area of, are we relevant or aren't we relative in the storage area and what we're doing as cloud continues to expand. I think there are a lot of questions about that. If you look at the stock, it's in a longer term downtrend. Here's a monthly chart of that. In a bear market right now, is it spending the third month underneath the 20-month moving average? Got some concerns about Seagate giving up the 45 level and heading down to a 35 print. I would be, personally, if it were my money, and I'm talking about these basically as if I'm trading my money, I would be staying away from that one right now. Alibaba, I think things are freeing up a little bit here. Baba, Baidu, a few others. Are now getting a little bit more of a pop, not only because they're seeing results, but also because it seems like the worst is over with trade talk now that you've got China talking about buying more items from us. And you've also got, if we can get this TikTok thing solved, you're going to see these kind of companies continue to move higher. I still think that you've got a great potential here. Baidu not going as the same way, but still a nice consolidation above the 50-day. I still like Mercado Libre over these two names right now. I think the Mercado Libre is a little less volatile and much more tradable in terms of the options. I could tell you that. You could use run. I could add run, and run almost, Sunrun almost made it to the list. I had to cut it at 10. I cut it at 10. Sunrun was probably number 11 or 12 when I was looking at it, but Sunrun was definitely in there. PBW for alternative energy. I picked ICLN yesterday, and this is wind. I picked the iClean because they tend to go out and grab a bunch of these. I am familiar with the Wind Clean and like this one. I just happen to pick the ICLN. It's something that I own, full disclosure. I do not own the PBW shares, and it's not because I think that it's not any better. It's just I like the companies when I look at them in the ICLN and the weighting a little better. And the Invesco, this ETF has a little higher expense fee, if I recall correctly. I think they're around 73 or 78 basis points. It's a pullback dollar on CLDR, Cloudera, CLDR. In other words, where do I think it's going to pull back to? I think it's a 13 print if you buy it right now. You look at a limit of 13. You've got a nice bullish move right now with the 50-day and the 20-day starting to tail up higher here. $13 looks like it's a deal from 14. That's about, what, 6% lower, let's call it. I'm just rounding on the math to keep it easy on my mind. I'm only on my second cup of coffee. If you get a 12 print on it, that's even better. Obviously that's much, much better. I don't think that you're going to see that with the trend that's coming into place. Think you see a little bit of a pullback to the 13. That's where I'd have a limit order sitting. Chewy, man, I love Chewy. Damn, I love Chewy. My vet even likes Chewy, tells me that Chewy had a hell of a day off their earnings number. They 60 to 70, $71 we're trading at right now. Chewy is also a short squeeze candidate, so watch his stock to go to 75. It's as easy as that. I don't think they are. I think they're going to pick up some steam here from this move. Peloton, the same. Peloton showing that they are really. And guys, I was shorting Peloton down here in March and April. I just didn't think. And at some point, I think it was right here in May. Very good friend of mine, one of my best friends. He's my Yoda, my mental Yoda. I call him because my spiritual Yoda. He had one delivered to his shop. He's got a woodworking shop that we go and play in, and he had one delivered to his shop, and that was the point where I had to short it and start buying it. Peloton is going to continue to do what they're doing well, and I think as we move into the winter, their business is only going to get stronger. I really did not like that stock before, but what are you going to do? They prove me wrong, and if I don't say that I'm wrong, then you know what? If I don't say that I'm wrong, I almost dropped a little bit of not Mickey Mantle on you, but Yogi Berra on you. If I don't say that I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, or then I just keep being wrong, or I don't know what the hell that was going to be. I hope I hit everybody here. Laugh out loud. CWH is getting love, love, love. Told you guys 29 if it held. This is what I'm talking about. When I bring down a group of stocks from 68 to the 30s, we start to learn every nuance about these trades, and it gives me the time to be able to do a study in the middle of the afternoon that says if it hangs at 29 and breaks above the 20 and 50, you want to hold on to this thing. That's exactly the type of reason that I think we bring it down to a list of 30, maybe even 30, 940 stocks. But you know what? Plug power. I think I am probably unplugged from this one right now. If it's at 3%, I'm unplugged myself. So that's a pretty good way to put it too. The buy at this point becomes either a 12.50 or a 13. I've got to nail it down this afternoon. That'll be our first one we'll talk about tomorrow morning when we talk about the alternative energy 10 that we're trading. AET, we'll call it. Alternative energy 10, unless somebody can think of something better. 10 energy alternatives. somebody think of an acronym. There's your assignment for the night. Think of an acronym for our 10 stocks that we're going to be trading for the next month through the month of September, which we're on the second day of on this Wednesday. I'll see my night trader people at 11 o'clock. I always love talking these stocks with you. Hopefully everybody's going to enjoy doing this little project with the 10 stocks, and we can make a little bit of side money on those. A little bit of go out and have some fun money with those stocks over the next 20 trading days. All right. We'll see you guys at 11, the night trader people. If you're not a night trader person and you're not seeing me at 11, why not? Just sign up. It's worth it. You'll get enough trades on the side trades just to pay for it. So I'll see you guys, and we have a lot of fun at 11 o'clock too. Zachary and I ZB and I get to talk a lot about education, and I think it's a very learning experience. I'll see you then. Have a great day. Make a lot of money. Bye-bye.